welcome to
Happy
21
Monday.
Days to the Life You Love. I got my beautiful wife here, Miss Janice Rockman. Say what's up to the people.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. We're so excited to embark on this journey with you.
Wow. So, man, my wife and I have been teaching this course, gosh, for the past 5, 6 years. There have been some amazing testimonies that have come from individuals partaking in this course. We've got individuals, from coast to coast, some individuals from the UK, overseas, Africa. I mean, we've taught this course all across the globe, and we've done it right here online with you. And we absolutely love it. So in a few short weeks, you're going to be receiving your life coaching certification. And we're going to help take your life to that very next level. So today, 21 days to the life you love. And you see it here in Spanish, which I was just having a little fun. I put it there in Spanish, but a few housekeeping things that I do want to cover with you. Tamara, I'm so glad you're so excited. Yes. And you should be. So a few housekeeping things that I want to go over with you. First of all, this link that has been provided to you, this is going to be your classroom for the next 4 weeks. Now, what I want you all to do is scroll down through this website, and there are a few things that you're going to see. You will see a couple instructions on how you can join the course in various different ways. In addition to that, you're going to see, if you scroll all the way down, you'll see your assignments, where each of those assignments that you see are all downloadable. So you can be an overachiever and go ahead and just download all the assignments if you want to, or you can just follow our pace. And just as we tell you, you just go to that assignment, download it, and just get everything going. Also, you're going to want to get a binder put together for yourself as well. We're going to talk more about that binder a little bit later on tonight, but that binder really is going to be your inspiration, your motivation. If you scroll down to the area where it says extra credit, you'll see one of our students created a binder and made it almost like a little vision board and put pictures of things that they want to do, things that they wanted to achieve. So that part of it is going to be really exciting. So everything is right here at your fingertips. Like I say, this is your classroom for the next several weeks. So just get excited, and we are going to rock and roll, people. It's going to be so much fun. Once again, so if you want to scroll, if you scroll down through the page, go ahead and scroll back up to the top so you can see the video. The next thing that I want to let you know is right where, and I see some of you all are already chatting in the chat box. As we go throughout the course, let's really make this exciting. You guys can type in questions here. If something really grabs you and it really grabs your attention, put a comment there, say, hey, I caught that, I got that, or, throw something out there to the group that someone else can maybe pick up from. We really want this to be interactive. We want you all communicating with each other, communicating with the group, and your chat box there gives you the opportunity to do that. Those of you that are listening, if you have not had an opportunity to get into the chat box, it's really simple. You can sign in, and I see some people have done that already, and you just create your own username and password, and it'll put you right into the chat box there. So let's get started. Let's rock and roll. Once again, we're going to flow through the course. At the end, we're going to handle any questions. But once again, if you have questions midway, or once again, something that you want to throw out there and say or shout out, or whatever the case may be, just go ahead and throw that in the chat box, and it will be amazing. So I'd like to start things off by saying this. We want to give you a rock solid thought. And this is the thing. This moment right here can absolutely change your life. This is the beginning. And this is what I want to say. Your past does not necessarily have to define your future. Many of us have been through so many things. We've seen so many things. We've experienced so many things. And you know what? Your past doesn't have to equal your future.
Yeah, I really enjoy that quote so much because sometimes, we can tend to own, wear, or identify the things that we've been through. And we are here to say, and hello, Casey, we see you there. We are here to say that, you may have been through addiction. You may have been through abuse. You may have been through bankruptcy. You may have been through job loss or layoff or failure financially, repossession, divorce, depression, health issues, whatever the thing is that you have been through. But it's a part of your story. It's a part of your life. It's not your story. It's not who you are. And so that's one of the things that we want you to take with you, that your past disappointments do not have to define your future. I don't know who said the quote, but none of us can choose our beginnings. When we're born into this world, we don't choose the family that we're born into. We just arrive here. So none of us can choose our beginnings, but you know what? We can all choose to write a new ending. So we believe that we are absolutely co-creators with our Creator, and we can co-create our experience in our life with God. So whatever it is that you've been through, it doesn't matter where you start, it's how you choose to finish. So what you believe about yourself is very important. The things that we're sharing with you, as we're sharing them in this course, not only are we sharing them with you, they're sharpening us. They're keeping us on our toes. They're encouraging and motivating us. We're taking this class just as much as students as we are teachers. And at the same time, as you're hearing these things, write these things down in your binder. Take good notes, as one of our previous alumni did, Miss Ptolemy Rankins, who's on tonight. She took great, copious notes. Take good notes, because then these are also tools that you can then go and tell your clients, look, your past does not define who you are. You can use these same quotes, these same tools to share and spread this message of the life you love around the world. All right? Sound good, everybody?
Awesome, awesome. And talk back to us over here in the chat box. Talk back to us. So, 21 days to the life you love. What does that mean? What is it all about? Why do we say 21 days to the life you love? Well, this is what we have learned. It takes 21 days it takes 21 days to create a new habit. Or what we like to say, it takes 21 days to create a new awareness, right? So anything that you do, because, we're going to talk about the psychology of the brain and the mind and the pathways of the brain and how you can break through and make changes in your life. But part of making the significant change in your life, which is why this course is 21 days to the life that you love, is that it takes 21 days to create a new habit. Consistently being consistent over that time frame creates that new awareness. And so we basically, what we do, we cover 7 topics in 3 weeks. And I know we have 4 weeks here, which we have 1 week as a filler, and we'll talk to you guys about that. But 7 topics in 3 weeks equals 21 days to the life that you absolutely love. So in week 1, tonight is week 1, obviously, we go over our orientation. We're going to let you know everything that you need to know. And there's some really cool points that we're going to go over tonight. So we're definitely going to dig in tonight. So you definitely want to get your pen, your paper, have everything ready to go so you can really engage with everything that we're going to be doing here. The second part of that is going into week 2, we're going to be talking about awakening your awareness. Awakening your awareness. Sometimes we're in the place where we are in our life, or we experience certain things because we just aren't aware. You don't know if you don't know, right? So we're going to talk about awakening your awareness. In week 3, we're going to talk about deleting old files and downloading new software. What are some of those things that have held you back? What are some habits that you have that are keeping you in the place in your life that you are right now? I just finished one of our previous courses, Think and Grow Rich, last week. And one of the things that we talked about was that over a certain span of time, most people usually make about the same amount of money within like a 5-year span, right? Within a few $1,000s of each other. Another thing is usually over a decade, people live the same life year after year.
Wow.
Every single year, you're doing the same thing, going through the same experiences, having the same challenges.
That's great, babe.
Right?
Good stuff.
Over a certain amount of time, because you have to understand the neuroscience of the mind to know how to make those significant changes to go and propel and break through that glass ceiling, right?
Yes.
You're always hitting that, man, why can't I make more than this? Or why can't I hit this weight goal? Or why can't I, I've got this amazing idea, but I just can't get it off the ground. We're here to help you break through that glass ceiling. Everybody say it right now. I'm ready to break through the glass ceiling. Matter of fact, do me a favor and write that in the chat box right now. Say, I'm breaking through. I'm breaking through. I'm breaking through. I want to see that in the chat box right now. I am breaking through. It is time for you to break through and bust through that glass ceiling. We're going to help you do that. So we're going to delete those old files. We're going to download some new software. And then lastly, in week 4, this is going to be really exciting. We're going to go over your life coaching certification. Get ready, because your life will never be the same. We're going over your life coaching certification. We're going to teach you how to set up shop. We're going to also teach you how to share your message. Listen, what is your passion? What are you passionate about? What is that thing that just keeps gnawing at you, that you're saying, you know what, I'm ready to make a change. I'm ready to do something different. I'm ready to break through. But what is it? What is that thing that I need to do? How do I set this up? Okay, I want to help people. I want to walk people through certain things. I want to do that, but how do I set this up? How do I build this business? We're going to show you how to do that.
And we see here, KC says, I'm breaking through the glass ceiling.
I love it.
Tamara, I'm not sure exactly. Tamara, is that the right? I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it correctly. She says, awesome sauce.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
Andre, I'm ready to, and he's in capital letters, breakthrough.
Yes, it's
glass
time.
Ceiling with
it's
3 exclamation marks.
It is time.
And Talani says, I am breaking through.
Yes, I know that's right. She said, I already broke.
We're with you.
I know that's right. Awesome. So, once again, we're in week 1. So this is what we're going to be covering tonight. We're going through 3 chapters tonight. Chapter 1, we're going to talk about taking inventory. Where do I stand? Where do I want to go? How do I want to redesign my life? From making a living to designing a life. This is the beginning of you designing a new life for yourself. This is what I want you to think about. What do you want your life to look like? What is the ideal life for you? Now listen, not gonna be easy, right? If it was easy, everybody would do it, right? But what sacrifices are you willing to make? And this is the thing. Most of us just make a living. Most of us we get up, we go to work, we come home, we eat, we connect with our loved ones, we go to sleep, and we get up and we do the same thing over again. We're making a living, we're surviving, we're eating dinner, we're, making money from work or whatever the case may be, right? But here's the thing. You can design your life. You can put to paper what you want your life to look like and then go after it. Are you ready for that? So we're going to, once again, take an inventory. Where do I stand? Where do I want to go? How do I want to redesign my life? From making a living to designing a life. And then we're going to cover chapter 2. We're going to talk about the motivational gift quiz. You all are going to absolutely love the motivational gifts. It's powerful information. I can tell you years ago, when my wife and I went through this whole deal in terms of the motivational gift, it's going to help you understand who you are as a person. In terms of the motivational gift, it's similar to the DISC profile, but I like this a lot better than the disc profile, and you'll see why here in a moment. It helped me to understand my wife so much more, and it helped me to really learn how to connect with her and engage with her in a way that totally blew my mind. It took our love for each other to a whole nother level. It took our respect for each other to a whole nother level. It took our relationship to a whole nother level just from understanding the motivational gift. Then in chapter 3, we're going to talk about what is my planning style. Am I a visionary? Are you a strategist? Are you a tactician? And the importance of focusing on no more than 3 planning projects at a time. 3 planning projects at a time. Very, very, very good stuff. Then we're going to roll over into chapter 4. Once again, we got a lot of information to cover, so I need you all ready to roll. Then we're going to go into chapter 4, defining core values. How and where I spend my time demonstrate what's most important to me. And what you focus on is what you receive. This is going to be very good. Then in chapter 5, we're going to talk about the neuroscience of change, breaking old and creating new habits, how you retrain your brain. See, part of change, and I'm sure some of you have wondered why can't I make the necessary changes, right? You think to yourself, man, I want to get in the gym, like I want to start exercising, right? But then you still continue to sleep in. Why is that? You know, you want to you want to connect more with your loved ones, your family, your wife, your spouse, whoever it is. But man, why can't I make these changes? You want to go to the next level in your job or in your business, but man, why can't I make those changes? You have to understand the neuroscience of change, how to break those old habits, because we are our habits. We are, our wealth, our increase, our relationships, everything that we are is based on the habits that we continue to maintain. So how do you break those old habits and create new? Then in chapter 6, my timeline, examining ways in which family systems, environment, and experience shaped your perspective. And then strengths and areas that need to be strengthened, right? Because the way we came up, where we grew up, how we grew up, it totally shapes who we are as a person. Like, my wife and I, my wife had one upbringing. I had a completely different upbringing, and we brought 2 completely different things to the table in terms of, how you cook dinner, or how you are supposed to, something simple as wash clothes, or how you're supposed to manage finances. There's so many things that we pick up from our past, and a lot of people always say, I'm not going to be like my parents, or I'm not going to be like my dad or my mom, or this, that, or the other. But what we realize when we come of age is that we're just like them, right? If anyone agrees with me, say yes in the chat box. And then we're going to go into chapter 7, the list of 10 passions and possible streams of income. We're going to do some work. If you can't already tell, we got a lot of work to do in a short amount of time, but I promise you, you'll absolutely love it. Keep in mind that all of these sessions are going to be recorded. Once again, all these sessions are going to be recorded, so you can always revert back. So once again, we're going to be covering a lot of information, but keep in mind, we're going to keep you paced through it all. And it's going to be exciting. Hey, you know what? You want to change your life? Now's the time to get into work to do it. So I want everybody to just remain calm, because we only have 21 days left. 21 days to the life you love, right? So bring it on. So obviously, many of you know us, Rock and Janice Rockman, and we are ready to roll. Before I move on, any questions? Throw any questions, any thoughts? Keep in mind with that chat box, let's keep that going. If you guys have any questions, you want to throw something encouraging out to someone that's out there, make sure you do that, right? So once again, we're talking about habits. 21 days to the life you love is all about changing those old habits that held you back, all right? So let's jump into chapter 1, taking inventory. Where do I stand? Where do I want to go? And how do I want to redesign my life? So once again, we want to go from making a living to designing the life. Now, one of your assignments, one of the downloads here in the class is going to be you taking inventory of your life. What does that mean, taking inventory? What you really want to do is just give yourself a snapshot of your life. Give yourself a snapshot of your life and almost kind of create a timeline, right? Like, man, where am I today, right? Because if you look at a map, if I want to go to, I'm in Austin, Texas. If I want to go to Atlanta, I have to know how to get there, right? I need a map to understand how to get to that destination that I'm looking to get to, right? I have to know how to get there. But how do I get there? What's the starting point of knowing how to get to that destination? You have to first know where you are, right? And part of knowing where you are is also being honest with yourself and and basically being very truthful about where you are. If you're overweight, what'd you say, hon? Sorry, go ahead. My wife knows exactly what I'm gonna say, but this is why she's chuckling, right? But this is the thing. She's like, I want to be sensitive to other people. But taking inventory is not about being sensitive. It's about being real, right? If you're overweight, it's not, I'm a little overweight. And maybe some people are a little overweight, but some people are just fat. Now, obese. My wife is saying obese. Now, listen. Tamara said, what book are these chapters from? These chapters are from the book of the Rockman Institute. This is raw information that we're providing for you here, Sister Tamara. This is raw, real deal. We built this whole program just for you, for a time such as this.
And we have a book called 21 Days to the Relationship That You Love. If you actually want a hard copy, you can order one from our website.
That's awesome. She said, LOL. Okay, thank you.
If you want to order the 21 Days to the Relationship You Love book, it has most of the content in it. This is just a more simplified format, more specific to coaching. So you can go to the website to order that if you want.
So where do you stand? You're going to, once again, this is one of your first assignments. Take an inventory. Where am I today? Okay, where am I in my health? Where am I in my relationships? Where am I in my profession? Where am I in my passion? We have profession and we have passion. Are you pursuing your passion, right? You really want to engage in all of that. You really want to engage in all of that so that you really get a sense of what it is and where you want to be in your life. Where do you stand? So then when you look at where you are, then you want to look at where you want to go, right? So we're taking a look at that map. Okay, whenever you pull up your phone, right, it gives you, okay, here's your starting point, and then you type in the address or whatever it is of where you want to go. So then where do you want to go, right? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to accomplish? Where do you want to be? You know, what's your weight goal? What's your career goal? What's your passion goal, right? What's your business goal? You want to put all these things down and you want to commit it to paper. Commit it to paper. So many people say they keep things in their head, they keep it in their mind, but what are you committing to paper? What are you writing down and saying, you know, this is not something that I would like to do or I'm thinking about doing? What is a must in your life? Because when something is a must, it's a completely different conversation when it's a must. So I want you all to say this right now. Wherever you are, wherever you're sitting, people are going to think you crazy. But we already talked about, first of all, we're going to commit our goals to paper. That's first. But even before we do that, I want you to say this. I want you to say, I must achieve this. I must achieve this. You know what? This has to happen. It's enough. You know what? I've been through this too much. This is the year where it is a must. Those ideas that I've had, those books that I've thought about writing, you know, that body that I've dreamed of having, that business that I thought, that business idea. You know, I did something the other day called the Escape Room in Austin. And it was amazing. And they got this thing where you go and you're supposed to break out of jail and all this different type of stuff. And you got to figure out all the clues and ideas and this, that, or the other, right? And so we had some family in town. And so I told my family, hey, yeah, I did this really cool thing. It's called the Escape Room. And any of you who look it up and see if it's in your city, it's amazing. I mean, it's really, really fun. But here's the thing. So my family, they said, I thought of that idea. Man, I thought of that. I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool if you did this, this, that, and the other? Let me tell you all something. How many of you have had that happen to you? You had an idea, and then you wound up, you saw it on an infomercial or something, and say, man, I thought of that. Come on, type yes in the chat box if this has happened to you. I know it's happened to me, right? But then here's the thing, right? It's more than one way to create a pair of jeans. Right? You got all different type of jean brands out there. Well, what about your idea? It's more than one way of doing something. Whatever ideas you've had and whatever thing that you've seen out there that someone else, you feel like they took it, this is the year where we are going to take advantage of those things that have been put in our spirit. It's time to make it happen. It's time.
And another thing I want to say, if I may, is that this process of taking inventory, you know, please be advised, it may be painful. It may be painful. But until we're really willing to identify, acknowledge, and accept reality, you know, total transformation cannot occur. So, you know, be aware of how you're feeling when you're doing this inventory, what you're thinking. Try not to take too much time with inventory so that you're not sculpting your answers to put the right answers down. Just go through it kind of quickly and organically. And honestly, if you can't be honest with yourself, you certainly can't be honest with anyone else around you. And just look at it as cleaning out house. Just cleaning out house. Because a lot of times what happens when people start to go through these kind of programs is they start going back to their old coping mechanisms. So if they're feeling kind of anxious, and they, you know, they want to go watch Netflix and binge eat and binge watch for 8 hours. That's what they're going to do because they've gone through this inventory and they're so uncomfortable. They need something to self-soothe or self-medicate. You know, if they feel like, oh, I usually drink a glass of wine to help calm me down, but sometimes I drink excessively. They may go drink excessively. You know, if they're procrastinators, they may do the inventory, but then all of a sudden they start procrastinating on everything. But I want you to be aware of those responses so you can start breaking through, as Mr. Rockland was just saying. Don't fall back into those same defaults. Don't self-medicate. Own your reality because that's the only way you can change it. Does that make sense? Say yes or type yes. Own your reality. That's the only way you can create a new one. Okay, motivational gifts. So this is day 2. Victor and Catherine Egan did a book called Finding and Fulfilling Your Purpose in 7 Days. And they talk about these administrative gifts. There's 7 of them. Thank you for all your feedback. I see you all interacting, saying yes. So basically, okay, here's the thing with the administrative gifts. I'm going to make it kind of quick and simple. And you can use this with your clients too. There's 7 of them, right? Everybody has a little bit of each of them, okay? But the concept is that you are only one. So please don't be a student that says, well, I think I'm 3 of them, or I think I'm compassion, exhorter, and giver. We're telling you right now, you are one, but you may have tendencies or similarities of the others as well, because obviously you had other influences in your family of origin or whoever your caretakers were that helped shape you. So the first one you see up there is administrative. The administrative motivational gift is the person that likes to organize, create systems, likes to put things in order. They thrive off of it. They're passionate about it, and it comes naturally. I'll give you an example. One of my nieces, every Christmas, our family used to all get together, and we would bring all our Christmas presents together in one room. And we had a pretty big family that was getting together, so there was literally maybe 70 different wrap gifts in this huge room. Really excessive. But anyway, I said that to say, we had a niece when she was maybe 5 years old. All the other children would be just ripping through all of their presents, just ripping through them one after the other. And she would open hers, and then she would methodically start categorizing her gifts. All of her doll stuff, she was like, this is my row for dolls. This is my row for cooking stuff. These are my row for cards. And this is my row for all of my arts and crafts. And then she'd say, Auntie, do you mind if I clean this up? Because it's going to be kind of hard for me to play if I don't have a clean area. So she wanted to go throw all the wrapping paper away. Do you see how that's just organic for her? That's just natural. No one told her to do that. No one suggested her to do that. And to be honest with you, and her mom jokes about it, her mom is actually very disorganized, and she tends to throw clothes around and leave makeup out and kind of be all over the place. And her mom jokes about it and owns it. So I'm not sharing anything with you that she wouldn't say herself. But I'm just saying that to say for this child, she is an administrator naturally. The second one, and be thinking about your own children if you have little people in your life. And if you don't have little people in your life, be thinking about your coworkers, be thinking about your neighbors, be thinking about your friends, be thinking about your siblings, be thinking about yourself, be thinking about your parents, your grandparents. I'm telling you, this will help you look into and see and understand people as never before. The second one is compassion. The compassion motivational gift feels very strongly and is moved very strongly for the emotional needs and emotional well-being of others. The compassion motive gift typically remembers birthdays and special events. They're very loving and kind people. They're very sensitive people. Sometimes they have to balance and regulate their emotions to make sure that they're not overly emotional or overly depending on their emotions. And they're usually very creative and artistic. That's compassion. For the party, always happy, life is good person. It's almost like they never have a bad day. And Tamara, can you tell me in the chat room, is it Tamara? I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly. Or Tamara. Just let me know.
Maybe you should get her to pronounce it in
phonetically, maybe.
It's not like she can really tell.
Well, if it's Tamara, no, I can say, is Tamara the right way to pronounce it? Just type yes or no. Because I'm big on pronunciation. Okay, good. Tamara, because I don't want to be calling you Tamara if it's Tamara and vice versa. My husband and I both have tricky names to pronounce, so we always like to make sure we respect other people's. Anyway, Tamara says, I'm definitely not the administrative area, LOL. Good, Tamara. That means you already are going through the process of elimination. So you can basically just draw a line through that, hypothetically, or in your notes. The exhorter, is the child that makes friends quickly. They usually have a pretty positive self-image. They're usually great salespeople and marketers. They have to watch and be mindful not to have breaches of integrity, though, because they see things in shades of gray. The exhorter is the person that will always say, well, what's wrong with that? I don't see anything wrong with that. What's wrong with that? They're always kind of like, what? Like they don't have to follow the rules kind of thing. But they can develop into a person that does follow the rules. So even though there's a strength and a so-called weakness or an area that needs to be strengthened with each of these, you can rise higher with each of these and balance it out. The giver motivational gift is someone that likes to give to causes, to aid, to mobilize resources for the aid of the greater good or for causes. The giver has to be mindful not to manipulate people through their giving. So I'm giving you this, but now I want you to do my agenda. And there was a young man, I did a middle school seminar teaching this information to middle schoolers, and it was great. And the little boy raised his hand and he's like, oh, I'm a giver motive gift. Every year when we have fundraisers, I always come in first place every single year with fundraisers. And he was just so proud of it. He was probably like maybe 13, 12 years old. So that's a giver. Number 5 is a perceiver. The perceiver sees things in black and white. There are no shades of gray. These are your legal professionals, your police officers, your military, your judges, maybe teachers. You can be in different fields, but these people like to follow the letter of the law. They become very angry at injustice especially if someone is being mistreated. And people sometimes can think that perceivers are mean because they're so serious, but they're not mean. Sometimes perceivers are actually somewhat sensitive and very critical of their own selves. See, they're so critical and so rule-driven and principle-driven that sometimes they're very critical and hard on themselves as well. But they have to work to balance that so that they are coming across in a warm way. Now I want to share this with you. This is going to be interesting. Mr. Rockman is an exhorter. I am a perceiver. However, I was raised and kind of groomed to be more of a compassion motive gift. Now, of course, my parents didn't know the motivational gifts, but the way that they raised me, I was raised in a very like politically correct home. Like, don't really speak your mind. Like, well, I guess if you speak your mind, it needs to be very like diplomatic. Everything has to be diplomatic. But I was always a very blunt child, and I would get in trouble for it because I would just call things out. And my parents would later say, well, you were right, but still, we still don't want you to say it. So think about how you can be coercing or influencing even your children or people in your space to do something else or be something else that's not congruent or authentic to them. So now I've come full circle. I'm still a perceiver, obviously, but it's interesting how you can get your children, you can have an agenda for your children to want them to be more like you or more like this or that. So be very sensitive to that. Now, we have a 7-year-old. We know her motive gift is a perceiver. We have a 3-year-old. Are we pretty sure? What are you thinking for him?
I have no idea.
For Joshua. I think we're thinking exhorter for him.
Yeah, exhorter.
Okay. And then we have a newborn, and obviously the newborn will wait, but usually by about 2 or 3, the motivational gifts start showing up. Okay. So this also helps you to learn how to raise your children. Like our daughter is very serious. Like she's like, that's not the rules.
Right.
She gets
she's
really
very black and white.
She's very black and white. She gets very angry about injustice. That's not the rules. Or she came home and she's like, I don't want to be on social media. Like, don't put me on Facebook. Like now, if we weren't sensitive to this, we'd say, oh, just calm down. Like, just relax. It's not that big of a deal. But that's what the Egan's call beating the gift out of the person. Don't beat the gift out of the person. With your spouse, don't beat their gift out of them. Like my husband, he does not meet a stranger. Like everywhere he goes, people are just drawn to him. He has great energy. People are drawn to me too, but I'm very introverted. So sometimes we go out on a date.
People are drawn to you because you're so
cute. Thank you. Sometimes we
cutie man.
Thank you, dear.
So cute.
Thank you, dear.
That was a kiss, if you all wonder.
I digress. Anyway, sometimes we go out on a date, we have little codes that we use, and I'll just say to him, like, can we not be on Broadway tonight? And that's our little funny way to say, like, okay, just bring it down tonight. I like to just have a quiet, private night. And so he's balanced it out. And then I balance out some of my perceiver ways. Everything doesn't have to be like by the book, by the rules. So learn the strengths and learn the areas that you can work on. Finally, you have the server, number 6, which is the person that loves and enjoys serving and giving and meeting the needs of other people. The server will work tirelessly to serve the needs of other people, but even to their own detriment. So these are the people that if you need them to come over and cut your hair, they'll cut your hair. Your lawn needs to be mowed, the lawn will be mowed. Oh, you need that button sewn on? Okay. Oh, you need me to plan a party for you? Sure. Oh, you want me to file your taxes? I think I know how to do that. It's like they know how to do a little bit of everything, but they'll do it to their own detriment. They typically don't take care of their own stuff. Then finally, there's a teacher. The teacher is an information connoisseur. They love to get information. Do any of you have a friend that just likes to come up to you and say, hey, did you know that, the temperature on the North Pole varies from time to time?
Unsolicited information.
Just unsolicited information. Hey, did you know that bees and dogs can sense fear? Does anyone have a friend like that? They just randomly throw out information that you never even asked for. If you do, they're probably a teacher motive gift. If you do that, you're probably a teacher motive gift. And teacher motive gifts have to be careful not to use their information to be arrogant over other people. Books are their friend. Information is their friend. And they also have to be careful not to be reclusive, because sometimes they're like, you know what? I'm fine. Like, I don't need people as long as I have my information. Okay, so let's see what we're saying here. Yes, we heard the kiss. Too cute. Hey, man, this is a forum. And
I'm back on my
students, your students.
I'm back on my
So I have a question. Can you please type what motive gift you are? What motivates you?
Yeah, right. Type in what
and
motivates.
boldly take a shot at it. Don't be worried about perfection paralysis. And I don't know, I need to think about it. Just boldly put down what gift you are, and then we'll move on. Okay.
All right, awesome. So moving on to chapter 3. Asking yourself, am I a visionary, strategist, or tactician? The importance of focusing on more than no more than 3 planning projects at a time.
That's right. Let me sip my tea. Hold on.
Oh, you sipping tea, huh?
Not in that way. Oh. I literally have tea.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. All right. I'm here sipping tea in 21 Days to the Life You Love. Hey.
Now, if you expect me to teach this live, you can't make me laugh like this.
Okay, go for it. I'm done.
Okay.
All right, we got some compassion motive gifts. We got servers out there. Server and teacher, Brother Andre. That's good stuff, man. Let's see. Talani says she's a perceiver and exhorter. Awesome.
Woo! Okay. Also, in compliment to this, if you all have chance, if you all want to do some extra credit, so to speak, and some additional education, another great resource is Gary Chapman, The 5 Love Languages. It's another great resource that complements this. Gary Chapman, The 5 Love Languages. Check it out. All right. So our business strategist, Karen Hosey, has a great book out, and she's helped us a lot in learning how to set up an effective business. And we're still very much a work in progress. However, she says that when you have a business, you should not focus on more than 3 projects at a time. When you have a family, don't focus on more than 3 projects at a time. So if you're the person in the family that's always like, we're about to join the YMCA, the children are about to start reading books every night, we're gonna start going on dates, we're gonna pay off our debt, we're gonna clean out the closet. Okay, break that down to 3 projects, no more than 3 at a time. And then once you finish those 3, then go on to the next one, because she says that if you have more than 3 at a time, you end up kind of washing out and not getting very much of anything done.
Yeah, and how many of you all can recognize with that? How many of you all can recognize with that where, and type this in the chat box, where you've had a bunch of projects that never were completed? Like you've got all these different projects. You got a website over here. You got a book, part of a book over here. You got, part of a, nutrition plan over here. You got, but how many of you have had so many things out there, but it just never came together?
It's like your attention's divided.
Your attention is divided. Donna says, yes, absolutely. So here's the thing. This is about learning and understanding who you are. So you want to ask yourself, are you a visionary? Are you a strategist? Or are you a tactician? Now, how many of you know what these points are? Just type, if you have heard about this before, but I'm going to share it with you. Now, what is a visionary? And you want to ask yourself, which one am I? Now, a visionary is an individual who just big ideas come in their head. You know what? I want to build the biggest website. I want to have the largest business. I want to build a farm, and I want people the people are going to be able to do this. And I want to build a retreat, and I want people to be able to come to the retreat, and there'll be water fountains flowing, and there'll be rose petals, falling from the sky. How many of you just that visionary just always has the ideas, always has, the big dream, the big hopes, the big plans, right? That's the visionary. But for the visionary to take that dream to the next level, you need a couple other people, or you need another type of personality style, which is a strategist, right? Your strategist is that person that says, okay, I see the big dream. I see that, you want the rose petals falling from the sky and the water fountains coming down. But okay, how do we then begin to implement that? Let's build a strategy, and let's create a plan around really making this happen. So the visionary sees the vision. The strategist helps to implement that vision by planning and using strategy on how we're going to get there. But then what happens with the strategists oftentimes is they're so busy planning it all out, nothing ever gets done. So then, my wife says she's a strategist, and I'm totally a visionary, right? But then you need a third person. You need a third personality style to bring it all together, and that's a tactician. That's the person that the visionary and the strategist can say, okay, here's the vision, here's the plan on how we can get there. And then the tactician is that person that'll get their hands dirty, get their knees dirty, and get out there and get the work going. They'll really put their hands to the work and really make it happen, right? So this is the whole idea of then creating a team of people around whatever it is that you're trying to create. You're not going to get to your dream. You're not going to get to the life that you love, if you will, by yourself. You need you need other people. You need a team. You know, you see these people put these posts out like, ooh, thank God for my team, my team. You know, my team so bad. You know, this, that, or the other. You need a team of people. You need a visionary. You need a strategist. You need a tactician. And when you are putting the team together, if you are the visionary, and I want you all to write what you feel your planning style is. Are you a visionary? Are you a strategist? Are you a tactician? Whichever one you are, you need the other two, right? As a part of your team. KC says the tactician sounds like Scotty P. Yeah, he's out there getting it. Come on, man. He's out there getting the job done, baby. Absolutely. Come on, man. I love that. Man. Scotty P, baby. But listen, are you a visionary? Are you a strategist, or are you a tactician? Whichever one you are, you need the other two as a part of your team, right? Because if you're a tactician, you're busy doing a whole lot of stuff, but you don't have any plans or any strategy on how you're going to get there. If you're a strategist, you sitting around doing a whole lot of planning and nothing is getting done. If you're a visionary, you got big hopes and big dreams, but you're not doing anything about it. But when you pull it all together, that's when the miracle happens.
And how many people can you go out and empower with this information? People that don't understand their working style, their business style. These are things that you can use to empower. And even in your own family, look and see what role is it. It looks like most of our students tonight are either strategists or visionaries.
Absolutely. So then rolling into chapter 4, we're talking about how and where, and this is defining your core values. How and where you spend your time demonstrates what's most important to you.
Okay, so with this particular concept, this can be life-changing. We have, if you can imagine, like a bullseye, almost like a dartboard with different rings around it, and how you prioritize your time. We believe that we personally, this is our belief, and you can create your own, but we put our faith in our family first. Faith and family first. So Rock doesn't put me before God. I don't put him before God. But we also don't put our children before us. We put our marriage before our children. Do we take great care of our children? Do they have a lot of support and a lot of love and a lot of attention? Yes, but they know that daddy and mommy come first in the household. So it's our core values, our faith and family first, our immediate family. Then our extended family. So your extended family comes after that. Sometimes people are running around trying to help the cousins and the nieces and the nephews, but they're not taking care of their own house. In addition to that, we say that we put our work or our profession next. That comes after, whatever our work is, because that's our means of taking care of not only ourselves, but able to generate income so that we can be givers and help other people. And then our outreach. So maybe the work that we do at our church or how we serve, in our religious organization, that kind of thing. And we do it in that order. That's the order we live our life. So I remember one time there was this seminar that I was really wanting to do. It was an online seminar. I was going to have like 2,000 people on it. And I finally got the phone call. But I got the phone call to do it last minute. Hey, can you get on? I know this is last minute, but we wanted to see if you could join us tonight and speak on this online seminar. But guess what? Rock and I were in the car about to back the car out and then go to our date night. But because it was a date night and I knew the opportunities would just keep rolling, it's not like that would be the last one. Maybe the last one for that, but I was willing to risk a professional opportunity that I had been waiting for a long time to honor the principle of putting my family time or my marriage first. And, to be honest with you, it always comes back full circle and there's always an abundance and I'm always blessed by it. So you don't have to feel like you're giving something up. How can I have a life I love? How can I have the family I love and, have the business or the professional life that I love? You really can if you put it in order. You also have something called Technology Free Day. Everybody say Tech Free Day. Tech Free Day. Say that out loud.
Tech Free Day.
Tech Free Day. So once a week, we have a day where we turn off all of our technology. There is no radio. There's no computers or laptops. There's no iPad. There's no iTunes. There's no TV. There's no technology for a day. And we just do it till sundown. And people almost lose their minds when they think about it at first because they're so addicted to their technology. My husband calls it being enslaved to their phones. We set up a lot of boundaries in our home and in our life. Another thing we do is we don't always do it, but we try our best not to bring our cell phones past our door. Like in our bedroom, like we try not to bring our cell phones past that doorpost, because when we come into our bed, when we want to be able to relax and unwind and not be having a million conversations with a million people on text and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Think about it. It's like you're having 5 conversations at once and you're sitting by the person that you love and you're supposed to be paying attention to.
Absolutely.
So you got to set up some boundaries. So choose a tech-free day. Ours is Sunday, and we just do it to sundown. Once the sun goes down, the technology can come on, and our children have to do it. And it's going to be a detox at first. But like my husband said, you don't want to be a slave to your phone. So get away from saying I'm too busy. Get away from saying I don't have time, because that is a lie. The truth is you have time to create the space for what is important to you. And sometimes I'll say to people, I apologize. I just haven't created the space to do that yet. I don't say, I apologize. Oh, I didn't have time to do it. No, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So we're not too busy. You just have to prioritize. So this is the core values has really helped a lot of people, because some people said, gosh, I felt like I was so unbalanced. We were giving so much time at our church, and we were never at home, or our marriage was falling apart, or I was working so many hours, or I was out trying to help everybody else in my family, but my own children were suffering. They don't know how to put this in order. Our life coaches, because we have life coaches, we have marriage counselors and therapists, we have a whole team of people that keep us accountable that we have enlisted in our own life. We have come and said, hey, this is who we want to help us. And so our coaches taught us about these core values, and it has really changed our life. Awesome.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Wow. Any thoughts? Share your thoughts on where we are, what you feel, anything that has sparked your mindset, your brain tonight as we're going into the next chapter, which is chapter 5, breaking old and creating new habits. How do you retrain the brain? You want to talk a little bit about that, Janice?
Most of you know, I am finishing my work in graduate school as a therapist, a marriage and family therapist, and I absolutely adore this work. I think I've been a therapist my whole life. I always thought as a therapist, even as a child. So I'm very passionate about understanding neuroscience. I'm very passionate about understanding the way that the brain works. And this is why it's empowering. So many people feel defeated and discouraged because they don't understand why they can't change. But they don't understand. Now, there are some people that say, you know what, change is as quick as one decision. One moment, you can be from here to there. And that's true for some people. But for many of us and most of us, it's a process. And there's some systems and techniques that you can use to understand how to actually create lasting change so that you don't have to feel guilty, because I'm sure some of you listening in tonight and some of the students that are on tonight have tried to change something and you fall back in the same pattern. It doesn't go the way that you plan and you feel really guilty, or you feel like you failed, or you feel like, man, why can't I get this right? Why do I keep hitting the ceiling? So let's understand the brain. Now you all see that brain up there with all the colorful brain. It's like a little rainbow brain. See all those lines and those grooves? Those are actually pathways. Point one, from the time we're conceived, our values, beliefs, and responses are shaped by communication or observation of those in our environment. Point two, most of life's lessons are not directly taught, they're caught through observation. So if you tell your children, we're not watching television all week, only on the weekends, like we do in our house, for example, we can't be turning on the TV watching the news or anything else we want and expecting them to just sit around and read. They're going to want to do what they see us do. You know, no matter what they teach you, or no matter what someone teaches you, what is taught is less relevant than what is caught through our observation. Parents, if you watch your own parents respond calmly under pressure, maintain a positive attitude, and relate to each other with respect, you will most likely do the same thing in your life. On the other hand, if you observe your parents respond to pressure by resorting to drinking, drugs, emotional outbursts, you may find yourself struggling in the same area. And I want to say this, and please write this down. Biopsychosocial, and we'll type it out. Once we get the screen thing figured out, biopsychosocial, okay? Who we are is in part biological, like who we are, the family that we're born into at the cellular level. That's why sometimes you can meet a child, they've never met their father, but they say, oh my goodness, he acts just like him. He looks just like him. Oh my goodness, the way he eats or the way he walks is just like his dad. That's because who we are in part is biological. The next part is psychological. And the psychological part of it is the way that we process information in our mind. The information that we're given, the things that we're taught, how we process it in our mind. And sometimes that's where our values and our beliefs come from. And the last part, the social part, is how we're socialized to behave. So all of us are made up in three parts in terms of who we become. It's biopsychosocial, okay? So we're gonna type that out, biopsychosocial. Please write that down. All right, number 4, you learn how to respond to life's victories or challenges by watching those around you who growing up. Our early childhood conditioning from birth to 5 years old. So from the time that you're born until 5 years old, it establishes how you are wired. Pretty much who you are by 5 is who you're going to be for the rest of your life, unless you begin to create radical transformation and change by taking courses like this and that sort of thing. So 0 to 5 is a critical time in every human being's life. And when you study the human brain, you'll find actual grooves and pathways. So you see those lines, it's those grooves, it's those pathways, it's those highways that are developed from our environment from birth to 5 years. So do you understand what I'm saying? The lines that you see in your brain are literally habits that were formed in part. That is a part of what's in that brain. So how you cook, how you clean, as Mr. Rockwell was talking about earlier, how you respond to things, what you do every day, those habits are hardwired into your brain. Now do you understand why it can be so hard to change sometimes? So you might be saying, okay, J-Rock, that's all fine and good, but if it's a line in my brain, how do I change it? Well, you retrain your brain, okay? Number 5, repeated habits form pathways in your brain. The way that you break old habits and create new habits, this is point 6, is by retraining your brain. So you have to become aware of the habit that you have, okay? You have to become aware of it. You have to acknowledge it, get some accountability, and then every time you are tempted to do the old habit, you have to consciously shift and do the right corrective behavior. Do you get it? So an example, if you always oversleep on your alarm, you never want to get up on time, and you've been like this your whole life, you get accountable with somebody and say, look, this is an area that I'm working on. I need you to stand with me in accountability. And the next time that alarm clock goes off, instead of you laying in bed and you sleeping late and you coming into work late or going to school late or whatever you're doing, Instead, retrain your brain and get up and do the right corrective behavior. Maybe you have a problem with, maybe you're married and maybe you have a problem with a gazing eye. This goes for women and men. It's more common for men. Men are typically more visual, but I've worked with a lot of women who have this issue. They're always checking out other men. Don't just keep doing that. If you realize that you're doing that and you want to stop that behavior, you want to stop ogling other men because you know that you're married to your spouse and you want to really just kind of have eyes for your spouse, then the next time you're tempted to look at that man, you need to say, okay, nope, I'm retraining my brain. I'm going to be accountable with the person that I'm accountable with. You can text them and say, look, hey, I'm staying on it. I just did well. And every time you do that, you create a new groove in your brain. And that's how you make new pathways. Isn't that powerful? You can literally put new lines in your brain. And that's the neuroscience of change.
And it's almost like in terms of creating change in your life, it's almost like, that the whole thing in terms of what do they call that? Like AA, Alcoholics Anonymous,
Mhm.
right? So what do? They it's basically a process of retraining the brain, right?
Mhm.
So they go through this 12-step process. What are they doing when they go through that 12-step process? They're creating new habits. It's a total paradigm shift from the way that they used to do things, right? They make a commitment to walking away from that lifestyle that they used to engage in, and then they begin to create this new lifestyle. But what's usually the most important thing, and really part of making this shift in terms of recreating, accountable to some other person that you feel that you can trust. What usually happens in within these, for example, AA groups, is they create what's called a sponsor. They have someone that sponsors them, where they can reach out, they can make a phone call, they can say, hey, you know what, these are some changes that I need to make in my life, these are some things that I need to do, I want to do some things differently, can you help me, right? And then when they begin to go into that old mindset, that old way of thinking, they have that sponsor there that's available to them to really help push them through to make those significant changes. Powerful, powerful stuff. And then over time, they're able to then break free of those old habits and create the new. So really make sure you're making yourself accountable to someone else. If it's something that you're committing to doing, something that you're committing to paper, this new life that you're going after, find someone that you really trust and tell them what your intentions are. And then when you have that moment where you're ready to give up, where you're ready to pull out, where you're ready to give in, make that phone call, reach out, send that text, send that message and say, hey, you know what? I need you to pull me up out of this rut or whatever it is. And I'm in, I've got to keep pushing. And that's what's going to keep you always on top. So the next step, my timeline. So this is going to be one of your assignments. You're going to create a timeline examining ways in which family systems, environment, and experience shape your perspective. Listen, if you don't think how you were raised, how you were brought up, the things that you've been through, the things that you've experienced, the trauma that you've experienced in your life, if you don't think it's made a difference in the person that you are today, then you are truly kidding yourself. It absolutely makes a difference. So then what can you do? You can then begin to examine those things. Really think about how, your thought process around money. Like, for example, some people grew up with the mentality like, hey, money doesn't grow on trees, right? When in all actuality, money does grow on trees because money is made out of paper. Paper comes from wood, and wood comes from trees. So actually, money does grow on trees, right? But I'm just playing around there, but really seriously, right? There are certain things that have been said, that have been done, that we've heard, that individuals will begin to shape their thought process around certain things in their life, the way they do things. You know, there's this story, and I absolutely love this story. Um, there's a lady who would, you know, for special events and things like that, she would always bake a full ham for her family, right? But before she would bake the ham, she would chop the end of the ham off. She would throw it away, put the ham in a pot and bake it. So then one day her husband, in year after year, she'd always cut the end of the ham off, throw it away, bake the rest of the ham. And then one day the husband said, you know, honey, I got a question for you. He said, you know, I notice whenever you're baking the ham, you always chop the end of the ham off. You know, that's kind of the part I like. Like, why do you cut the why do you chop off the end of the ham? And her response was, well, that's the way my mother did it. So, I mean, that's the way you bake ham. You chop the end off, and that's just the way you do it. And so he was like, well, you know that, I mean, it seems like that part, it's edible. We can still use it. I mean, why did your mother do it that way? So then she said, well, you know what? I'll call mom and I'll ask why. So she made a phone call to her mother and said, you know, mom, you know, I always, you know, bake a nice ham for the family whenever we having a nice event. And, you know, hubby asked me, you know, why do I cut the end of the ham off? And I told him, because I pretty much do it the way you did it. Your hams are always delicious. So, you know, I make it the same way you made it. But why did you cut the end of the ham off? And the mother's response was, my pan was too short. So I cut the end of the ham off. Her pan was too short. So that was the only reason. It wasn't because it wasn't edible. It wasn't because of anything. It was just because her pan was too short. How many of you are operating in the mindset of the pan being too short, where you're doing something a certain way just because someone else did it that way? But how many of you know there's a different way of doing things? There's a different way of operating. There's a different way of being. And so you're really going to examine that. So here's with the timeline. And once again, this is one of your assignments. With the timeline, you're going to write out from your first memory of when you were a child. Think all the way back to your first memory. And you're going to take that first memory and then just pinpoint from your first thought up until present day, and just significant things that happened in your life. You know, that time you got in a fight, or, you know, that time you had your first kiss, or, you know, something that your parents did. You know, maybe it might be a divorce that your parents went through. Um, you know, um, the first time you went to college, you know, when you met your wife. Like, you're going to just do a timeline and write out from your first thought up through present day, just significant events that you feel have shaped you into the person that you are today. And then you're going to look at that and just, it'll give you a really, really, really great understanding of why you operate and why you do things a certain way. And then obviously you want to look at it and think about things that you want to change, that you want to do different, things that you want to implement in your life, things that you want to take away, things that you want to build upon, things that you want to keep. Powerful, powerful, powerful stuff. Thoughts, comments. Let me know what you guys think about that. This is good stuff. Absolutely. So, going into the next chapter, lots of information, folks. This is lots of good information. I hope you all are enjoying this tonight. So, going into the next portion, right? We're talking about the list of tens. I absolutely love this. This is going to be one of your assignments, right? You want to write out a list of 10s. You want to write out 10 passions, and you want to write out 10 possible streams of income. Thank you so much. Tamara says she is loving this. We're loving that you're a part of this. Yes, 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 yes. Donna said, mind blown. Great info. Thank you so much. Talani said, definitely. I love all the comments that you all have there. And you know what? This is our passion. This is what we absolutely love to do. If you can't already tell, this is what we do, and we love it. We're so passionate about this. What are you passionate about? What are you fired up about? What can bring you additional streams of income? Because listen, we're talking about designing a life, not just making a living, designing a life, folks. But it starts with passion. It starts with passion. If you don't have passion,
we're talking about what are we talking about? You got to say that.
Wait, what did
we're
I
talking
say?
About not just making a living.
Listen, we're talking about not just making a living. We're talking about designing a life. What are you passionate about? What can you get up every day? You know, someone said something and it blew my mind. And they said, when you're doing what you love, it's not like work. When you're doing, and listen, let me tell you something. This is not work for us. This is not work for me. This is what I love. I love encouraging people. I love helping people change. I love seeing people break through glass ceiling. I'm so, but once again, I'm getting woo. Come on, Rockman, don't get off track here. All right, listen. Write out your 10 passions and possible streams of income. How can you produce more money? Listen, the only way you're going to get, now listen, there's nothing wrong with you. I'm not one of these guys that says, hey, you know, everyone's supposed to be an entrepreneur, right? Some of you, maybe your passion is the work that you are currently doing. You know, maybe that's your passion, and that's okay. I'm not this guy that like, hey, you need to sign up for my network marketing scheme. And, you know, and believe me, I love network marketing. I made tons of money in network marketing. It's a great industry. But, you know, once again,
if everyone was an entrepreneur, there'd be no one to work and help build
exactly,
organizations. And vice versa.
Right.
So it takes everyone.
So listen, Brother Andre says, somebody cool them off. Man, I'm hot. I'm on fire, baby. Yes, I love it, man. I just love what I do, man. I love this stuff. So, but what are you passionate about? I mean, really, really think about it. What are you passionate about? And what are some additional streams of income that you can build that can help take you further into your passion? Right. And you know, sometimes those streams of, you know, sometimes you have to do certain things to get you to your passion that you may not be passionate about, but it's helping take you to the next level. But if we don't have any plan, anything that we're planning on implementing, then what are we really doing? So we really want to write that out. So really think about that going throughout these next 7 days, right? We're talking about 21 days. And so the whole idea is you just, you know, don't try and do it all in one day. Take this thing day by day by day by day by day. But definitely of all the things that we've went over, do this one right here. At least write out 10 passions, 10 things that you are absolutely passionate about, that you can get fired up, that listen, that will get you up in the morning, that you would do for absolutely nothing. You do it for free, just as long as people give you an opportunity. Like, you know, give me a microphone and a stage and I'll get up and speak. It doesn't matter if you're paying me or not. I love encouraging people. So think about that. Write that out. Passions, passions, passions. Awesome. So this has been good tonight. Lots of information. Can you believe that it's been an hour and 15 minutes? Like, did it feel like, let me ask you all, did it feel like an hour? Or did it just like, was there so much information that it just like, whew? I know it breezed through for me. I don't know about you all, but this is good stuff. And once again, I know it's a lot of information, right? And I don't expect you to get every single point. I don't expect you to remember every single thing. Once again, you can revert back immediately after this course is over. You will have access to the replay. Like literally, once we say done, goodbye, good night, you can come back and you can access the video, rewind it, play it over, go back to certain chapters or whatever the case may be. Brother Andre said, I definitely have to recap several times. I feel you, brother. But that's why we say bring a notepad, bring a pen, bring paper, so that you can really be ready. Make your binder, right? So then you're going to have some homework. In addition to everything that we've done, you've got some homework. So once again, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page where it says assignments, you're going to see your 4 assignments. So we made it easy for you. You can see where you can download your personal, and all you have to do is click it, and it's an automatic download. You see assignment number 1 is going to be your personal inventory. Assignment number 2 is going to be going over the neuroscience of change. Assignment number 3, remember that timeline that I told you all about? Well, there it is. Assignment number 3 is your life events timeline. That one is really fun. I mean, you guys should really take some time with that one. I mean, if you knock that one out in 30 minutes, then you didn't do it properly. You really want to take some time with that one. I would recommend whatever day off from your work or whatever it is that you do that you have this week, or like a Saturday afternoon, really take some time to really search through that, because we're talking about your life. And we're talking about significant things that happen throughout your life. You know, someone said something to me that I thought was so powerful. They said out of the top 10 decisions that you made in your life, like everyone has like a top 10 list. These are like the top 10 decisions that I've made in my life. How many of them were right? Because some of us have made some decisions, some top major decisions that were not the right decision. And then we also made some that were the right decision, the right choice. How many were right? But write out those life events, and then assignment number 4 is your list of 10s. Now, like I said, if you really want to be an overachiever, you can download all the assignments if you want to. It's totally up to you. So once again, this is our last portion. Questions, comments, anything that you want to share before we wrap up tonight, throw it in the chat box.
Tamara says she's getting her binder tomorrow.
Yes, I love it.
See it.
Good stuff, Tamara.
Send us a picture.
Brother KC says, I'm excited. Well, listen, man, we're excited too, brother, to have you here. Brother Andre said it blew by. Having to recap this thing several times. Wow, Donna said it went by so fast. Wow, that's good stuff. You know, they say time flies when you are having fun. So once again, this last portion is for you all. Questions, comments, anything that you want to share. That's a good one. What's your major takeaway from tonight? Like, what's the one thing? Oh, Tamara, thank you so much for sending the picture. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, once you make your binder, send us a picture of it. That would be really cool. We used to do that. We used to post them to social media years ago, but then we were thinking like, well, maybe people don't want their stuff on social media. So we stopped doing that. But
sometimes we can share
people used to like it. But
sometimes we can share them in
class. Oh, yeah, we can share them with the class. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, maybe we'll do that.
So what's your takeaway? The takeaway is basically there's all this, nutrient-rich information, but your takeaway is your light bulb moment. The one thing that you would say that stood out to you the most for tonight.
Yeah, what's the main takeaway? The one thing that you're really walking away from this thing this evening.
It could be a quote that you heard in the beginning about your past not defining your future. It could be something that someone else typed in this chat room. It could be one of the slides. It could be a light bulb moment. Takeaway. What's your takeaway?
All right, Donna said, this has been really amazing. Thank you both. This was a real blessing. Brother Andre said, I have to dive into this assignment because I see this will inform me more about my strengths and areas of, you know what? I mean, Brother Andre, you summed it up completely. If you all can't tell, this is really about you. Like, it's not about us. It's not about, anything that we're any type of a agenda that we're trying to get across. If you notice, all these things are about teaching you more about the person that you are, and then how you can go on and create this life that you love, right? Talani said this was time well spent, invested. Very, very good stuff. And Talani has been through the course before, so she's an alumni. And one thing that's really cool is that year after year, and I think Sister Talani can attest to this, year after year, this course has just continued to get better and better and better. And once you've taken the course, you have free access to it for life, like forever. You can come back, and we teach this course about 3 or 4 times a year. It's the same information, but the more we teach it, the more we can just really implement and impact. And obviously, it's so much information. When you come back a second time or a third time, you're going to pick up something new. So you have a lifetime membership to the 21 Days to the Life You Love alumni group. So pretty awesome. So Brother Andre said, okay, he said, I have to dive into this. Yep, this will inform me about my strengths of opportunity. Talani said, time well spent. Don't let someone or my family system shortcomings be mine. I like that, KC. So that's your takeaway. That's good stuff. Tamara said, my takeaway is that I am on the right path. You're definitely on the right path. So much of what was said set off so many light bulbs. That's good stuff. Talani said, life-changing, literally. Awesome. I love to hear that. Tamara said, wow, this is awesome. Donna says, the life events timeline and list of 10s. I'm writing a new ending. Girl, you better write your new ending.
Write your new ending.
No, that's right. Thank you both for a very informative and educational evening. Awesome stuff, guys. Well, this is exciting. This is exciting. I'm so excited. Man, we got one more. We got 3 more weeks left. We finished week 1. Congratulations on finishing week 1. Guess what? Week 2 is next week. Can you believe it? So get your work. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. You got a lot of work to do this week. Take some time. Take some quiet time. Put some soft music on. Do whatever it is that you need to do, and just get into that relaxed space and get this stuff done, because you know what? It's about you. It's about you. It's about you making the changes. It's about learning more about yourself, who you are, what makes you tick, and what makes you change. Brother KC said this seems like a movie. Wow. I'm writing my own legacy. I know that's right, my brother. Wow. Oh, thank you so much, Tamara. She says we're awesome. Thank you so much. You all are awesome.
Yeah, we're just servant leaders. We're here to serve you. Here to serve you and honor to be of service.
Serving. And man, so glad that you all took some time out of your busy schedules.
Yeah, that you chose to share this time with us.
Share this time with us. We're so excited. Well, that's all we have, folks. Until next week, be blessed.
Same time, same place.
Be encouraged. Same bat time, same bat channel. I'm showing my age. If anybody remembers, I have
no idea what you're talking about.
You don't know that?
I have no idea.
Am I that much older than you? Same bat time, same bat channel.
Is that like Batman or something?
Yeah, you don't remember that?
Oh, there was a Batman show.
Yeah, there was a Batman show.
Is that what they set up every time they show?
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Really?
Who remembers that? Just throw that in the chat box as we sign off here tonight. On tonight. I want to thank y'all for joining us on tonight. For coming to the 21 Days to the Life You Love on tonight.
Wow.
Sister Tamara says, I remember that on tonight. Ooh. Have a great week and blessings to everyone on tonight. Wow. I'm just having fun. Y'all be blessed. I tell y'all what, I wasn't feeling too good when I started this tonight, but I feel great now.
Yeah, we both were we're
Yeah,
trying to kick a little butt. Our son, our 3-year-old, gave us a really, really like, unpleasant bug.
Yeah, I kind of on tonight.
Well.
I had a little bug, and I told Janice, I said, as soon as I click play on this class, I'm going to turn up. And that's exactly what happened. Thank y'all for helping me feel much better. Y'all have a great weekend. Be blessed. Love you guys. See you next week.